Hi, my name is Tony and today we're gonna make a very simple face mask. I will provide a free pattern for this mask and I will build it together with you so you can see during the next few minutes how easy it is to make something that looks okay on your face. So next, go ahead, scroll down to the video description. Click on the link to get this pattern, like I said, absolutely free. Download it, print it, and after you have your printed pattern in front of you, we'll continue this tutorial, okay? Go ahead, I'll wait. You're done? Good. Then you should be looking at these pages as well. One of them is just some copyright advisory. I mean, if you know me, you know I don't really care about that unless, you're really stepping on my toes. But the first one is important because it has the printing proportion. I mean, this is how you make sure you printed the page at the correct size. So this is the only page you're gonna be cutting out and use to make the mask. You need obviously a few patches of leather, and for the leather, go ahead and use anything you have. Okay, so I got my leather. It wasn't too difficult for me because, I'm a leather worker. But you can use, like I said, anything. If you have an old bag or an old jacket or whatever, you're not gonna use anymore, and you think a face mask is more useful, go ahead and hack into that. This is what I have. We'll make it red so it pops up. All right. Now that you have your leather and you have your pattern, grab some scissors. I have a pair here, and go ahead and cut all the patterns out. Right? You don't need to cut straight on the black line. And after you're done, we'll move on to the next stage. Okay, well, I'm done. So go ahead and finish as well, and then we'll move on to the next stage. Well, for this part of the build, we're gonna be using masking tape to hold these pieces of paper on the pattern, and something like this. Just try and squeeze them all there. Okay, so like I said, I will hold them all in place with masking tape. This is paper, right? And when you place it right on the paper pattern, you can still see through it, which will be useful because we need to punch all these holes, okay? Well, at this stage we need to punch these holes, okay? You can use a variety of tools to do that. I will use a 1.5mm round hole puncher. You can use a diamond chisel, right? That will work. So I'm gonna also place a high density plastic mat underneath because I don't want to damage my work surface. Also, I will rub a little bit of wax all along the stitching hole. This will make this tool slide in and out of the leather with greater ease, okay? This is just an IKEA candle I bought. You get a set of 20 for like $1. Very cheap, lasts me a couple of weeks. All right, so let's go ahead and punch these holes right now. I'll show you how I do the first few, and then I will most likely fast forward this a little bit because you don't need to see how I punch every hole. However, you do need to do that. So go ahead and do them all. Don't skip any, don't add any, because it will avoid a lot of frustration later. See? Okay, I'll talk to you later after you've done all the holes. Alright, so we got all these holes punched. We're ready to cut the leather pieces out. Now, there are a number of ways to cut the leather out. This is my preferred method. I mean, you can see it's already, the paint is wearing off of how much use this, this cutter has got. And this is the perfect tool for me. This is not the perfect tool for everyone. My advice to you, if you're gonna do more than just this mask in the future, go ahead and try a variety of cutting tools and then stick with the one you like best. Okay, now there are a number of very tight round corners here. I mean, you could do just a straight cut and have squares if you're not really worried about the finished product, but you can even use scissors if you don't have a very sharp cutter. You can, look, I'll demonstrate. This obviously would not work with very heavy leather, but I don't actually recommend heavy leather for this type of mask. So go ahead and just grab a pair of scissors and give that a try. You're not sure, try it on a scrap of leather, see how that feels. I have to admit, in my many years of experience, I have never cut leather this way, not once. I know it works, but I never tried it. Some leather workers do, but I do not. And as soon as I finish this piece, I will show you how I do it, okay? But we started this, let's finish, and then we can even maybe have a little comparison, see which piece came out best. All right. Well, this is the first piece. Now, what I have is I have a tool of quarter corners here. See, the big, the small. So I'm gonna guess this is the right one for these corners here, and this is what I would normally do. Just use this. This will give you consistent results, even on heavier pieces of leather. Now, these are expensive tools, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not even gonna tell you how much they are, but I will tell you there are way cheaper alternatives than it. So again, if you're doing this full time, maybe invest in some of it. If not, don't worry. That's a different discussion, covered in a different video. Well, now this is a regular box cutter, like you probably have one in your home right now, but the blade is fresh and it will go through anything very easy. I'll have to change it very soon, but this is what I use. All right. So now we're just gonna go ahead and cut all these straight lines. And pick the leather out. And where is the... well, this is the comparison. Okay? So you go ahead and choose a cutter. Choose a pair of scissors. Maybe you have a round knife. Go ahead and sharpen this and use that. whatever. Who cares? Okay, well, I will go ahead and cut all these pieces out, and you go ahead and do exactly the same thing, okay? And as soon as you're done, we're gonna continue with our build. Careful with your fingers. You actually gonna need all of them. So you finish cutting all the leather pieces out. Like I said in the beginning of the video, we should have 5 of them, and we're gonna stitch them all up together. I am using 1mm waxed thread. This is synthetic, it's very, very tough leather. This is what I use in all the leather work I do. I would imagine not everybody has this in their house, especially if you've never done anything out of leather before. So go ahead and find the toughest leather you have. And if you have to, if it's not thick enough, double it, you know. Run it through the needle twice and use that. The stitching technique that we're going to be using is called saddle stitching. Now, this is not a tutorial on how to saddle stitch. I will show you, I will demonstrate, but I am aware there are far superior tutorials on this stitching technique out there on YouTube, and if anything that what's going to happen next seems a bit confusing, maybe stop this video, do a quick search for saddle stitching, see what that's all about, and then come back and continue. All right, but if you're confident you can do this, we'll go ahead and start right now. I also use some very large needles, so if you don't have stitching needles, go ahead and find the biggest needles you can find, you can get in your house, and use those. Okay, now this is how this stitching will go. This side piece here will come underneath the middle, the center. Okay, and once again, this is the stitching technique I was talking about. You basically run both needles through at the same time, see? And if you do it this way, there is no chance to run the needle through the thread. Okay, if you're doing one needle at a time, like this, for example, right, and you pull, there is a risk when you insert this one to do it through the thread, and you actually don't want that. I'm gonna finish the stitch, and as soon as we get to the end, I will also show you how to finish the stitch, okay? Good. Once you reach the end of the stitching, like I did here, double back once. Okay? I mean, you can do it twice, you can, if you want. I don't normally do it, I do it only once, but for demonstration purposes, right? And then over here, grab the scissors and trim the ends off. Okay? Now, because this thread is synthetic, it melts off, and that's exactly what I'm gonna do. Now, this is gonna stay there, it's not gonna come off, I guarantee you. Okay? Easy. Okay, so this is one side to the center. We're gonna attach this side exactly the same way. Okay, very easy. So you go ahead and do that. I'll go ahead and do that, and I'll see you afterwards. All right, so we finished the mask almost. We just need to find a way to attach it to your face, really. If you're in a hurry, you can forget about these holes, punch a couple of bigger holes here and tie some elastic band around it, okay? But I say if we've got this far and we have something that looks decent, why not choose a decent solution for it? So we're gonna stitch these two pieces on each side, and before we do, we're actually gonna insert a piece of elastic through there as well, okay? So go ahead and find a suitable piece of elastic band. Now this is what I have. I mean, it is what it is. It's a bit too thick. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut it down the middle and use both sides. And there you have it. Okay. So like I said, we're gonna insert this in here and stitch this on top here like a sandwich. Okay, again, we're gonna be using the saddle stitch technique, but this time it will go through 3 pieces of leather at the same time. There you have it. So go ahead and stitch both sides, and then we're almost done, almost there. Also, pull this every now and then. Make sure your needles don't go through the elastic band either. You want the elastic to freely slide through this made hole here. Remember, we double back once or twice. Like that. We trim and we melt the thread in place. Look at that. That will do nicely, okay? So I have one. Let's do the other one. All right, so we are absolutely done. Only a few minutes ago, we had the paper pattern and a few scraps of leather, and then this. The elastic bands, I chose to tie a knot here and a knot here. And I'm gonna place it over. But before I show you how I'm gonna wear it, you can also wear it around your ear. So do a short knot like that, see, and then you can do it over the ear. But this is why I recommend a knot at each end, and then you simply put this inside the seam here so it doesn't show. And then you are good to go. You can make a couple of holes here for easier breathing. You can even place this on a different type of mask or protection you already have. So there you have it. Very easy to make. Make one for you, make one for your friends, who cares? Try and help anyone you can.